Let's take a look at 5.3. We have a car wheel that has a diameter of 20.8 inches. Now, to think about this question, let's refer back to a previous activity, the activity where we had the circle where we could adjust the diameter and we had a ruler, and we were going to roll that out. And in that activity, we learned that the roll, one complete rotation, was the circumference of that circle. So if that's the case, if we got this car wheel and we want to know how far it'll travel in one rotation, we need to find that circumference. And we know that circumference is pi times diameter. Well, we're going to fill this in with what we know, and we know that pi is approximately 3.14, and we know that the diameter is 20.8 inches. So when we get our answer, we put that in there. I'm going to go ahead and round it to a whole number, and we're going to say that this is 65 inches. So how far will it travel in 5 rotations? How far will it travel in 30 rotations? In order to get those, we have to multiply that distance in one rotation times 5. We have to multiply that distance for the last one times 30. Okay? Now, I left my decimals in the calculator, so my numbers may be a little off, but this is going to be somewhere around 326 inches is how far that tire will travel in 5 rotations. This one's going to equal about 1,950, 60, let's say. Let's just round it there, inches. Now remember, these are rounded, and I left the decimals in the calculator, so you may get something just a little different, but they should all be close. Now I want us to pay attention to this question on B. It says we want to write an equation. That means we've got to have an equal sign. It says we want to relate C, which means car, not circumference in this case. We want that to equal something. How did we find how far the wheel traveled in so many rotations? Well, what we had to do was, in this case, we had the diameter, which was 20.8. We multiplied that by pi to find the circumference, but then we multiplied that by x by the full number of terms. So this is the equation that you should have for this one. Now in C, it wants to know how many rotations the car will make in 1 mile. All right, well, there's some things we have to know. We have to know that 1 mile is 5,280 feet, which translates to, if we multiply that by 12, 63,360 inches. Now, I need the inches because that's what I'm dealing with here. All right, so in 1 mile, this is how many inches it needs to travel. This is one rotation right here. So to answer question C, we have to take that 63,360 inches and divide it by the number of inches in one rotation, which is 65. Now when we do that, that's going to give us approximately 970. Now once again, when I figured these, I looked in my calculator, I left the decimals in there. So I know your number may be a little different, but it should be very close to 970 rotations in 1 mile. We'll come back to number 2. Try number 2, go back and look at your work. Try number 2, and we'll come back and look at it in a few minutes.